I want to say this now. I'm not going to wait till the end of this review. I'm glad I didn't see Raw. I'm glad. End of the show when when Shane and Daniel Bryan had their talk, and this was the second talk they had. Essentially, they were both happy that Raw was there, but they know it's coming, and the reprisals will be coming. And it's Daniel Bryan that says to Shane, when it happens, you're going to have to deal with the consequences because it's your job. Now, I have this strange feeling about Daniel Bryan. I'm not saying he's going to go to Raw, but I have this strange feeling there's something going on in the back. I don't know. It could just be me, but I just feel like it would be interesting if Daniel Bryan turned and went to Raw because he couldn't stand Shane McMahon and what he did to him. By not keeping him in the loop. By not trying to listen to reason when he was told to listen to reason. That's just how I'm feeling. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's just how I feel. But I'm glad that it didn't happen this week. Probably will happen next week. It would be great if it happened a week after that. Maybe give me a week before Survivor Series. Well, about 2 weeks before Survivor Series. 2.5 weeks. I'd rather see it like that. But this is just me. Now, the end of the show. Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. I didn't expect a lot from this match. The beginning of the show, when you saw Shane come out, you saw Sami Zayn came out, and their talk, which, I'm going to be honest here. Sami Zayn is still acting too much like a baby's face, and it's not working as a heel. I'm sorry. Being annoying is not enough. I'm just being honest here, ladies and gentlemen. I was hoping that once he did his heel turn, he would change up his personality of his character. No. As far as I can see, he's still staying exactly the same way, and I find it very disappointing. It's just me. Anyone else, tell me the reason why. It's perfectly fine. But for me personally, Sami Zayn keeping the same personality as before without changing anything is just wrong. It needs to have some alteration. I'm not saying 100% change, but I am asking for some type of difference from Sami Zayn, and I'm not seeing it here. The match itself, Sami still wrestled as a face, and that is a major issue. Yeah, the little parts about him backing off, playing around, beating on Randy Orton's chest, which he started grinning like, oh, he's going to be like that, huh? It wasn't bad, but let's be honest. You need to be more heelish in some way. Playing around like that is not enough. And I'm not saying to do heel stuff all the time. I'm just saying that you need to change up your style. So people will see that you actually have become a bad guy. Now people will say, well, he's a good guy that's been coerced by a bad guy. No, he has not. He knows he's a bad guy. He's dealing with a bad guy. He's done bad guy things. But he needs to change up the character. He may have acted like a bad guy, but he's not acting like a bad guy. That's my problem. Here's another problem. The Fatal 5-Way for the Smackdown Women's... Well, look, to become captain is not a very big thing. It just isn't. It's important, but it just isn't. And then you wonder, who are they going to put in that position? The only person that makes sense, because of the way they booked them, is Charlotte. But then you wonder, maybe Becky should be the next one. Or maybe it should be Carmella. Particularly Carmella, because she has a Money in the Bank briefcase as Miss Money in the Bank. And I know I said Becky, and I don't want to see Becky is there. It could have been Naomi, or it could have been Tamina. One of those two might have been more interesting. And I know a lot of people want to say Tamina sucks. No. Tamina is not the issue here. They've had worse women than Tamina who became freaking champ and became relevant. It's not about Tamina and her ring work or her mic skills. This is about them using her properly and booking her properly, and they have done nothing. The only person I truly felt was the best one was Carmella. Now, I know I mentioned Becky again, but that's just in passing. That it could have been, if it wasn't Charlotte, it could have been Becky. It could have been Naomi. It could have been Tamina. It could have been anybody else. But they chose Becky. instead of Carmella, who would have been actually a better choice. Now I'm going to say this. Becky is not a bad wrestler. She's not also a bad person to do a character. We know she can do a good character, and we know she can wrestle. But the WWE has done nothing with her. In fact, they just used her in a very inappropriate way by pinning not once, no, not pinning once, beating once, and then a second time the Money in the Bank winner. You're willing to sacrifice the Money in the Bank winner, the first female to get a Money in the Bank briefcase, for a woman that you've done literally nothing with. And you used her to pin someone, well, submit somebody, and won twice. Really? Just, really? I'm not against Becky, but I am being honest. Becky's the worst choice you can pick, even though I did mention her in passing that it could be someone other than Charlotte. But still, really? Now, Usos at ringside watching New Day, Shelton Benjamin, and Chad Gable. You actually sacrificed the New Day for Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Yeah. I do not know how to feel about that. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, they had to job them out eventually. Yeah. They had to. But why now? Why would you rush Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable going up against the second best tag team on SmackDown Live? You could have stuck them against the Ascension. You could have stuck them against Hype Bros. You could have stuck them against Breezango, which I don't want to see. You could have stuck them against anybody else, but you stuck them against the second best team instead of building up into it going into Survivor Series. And I know they're not going to be getting the titles then, but you could have done something that could have built up into it. And then after Survivor Series, you could have easily had them go up against the Usos and get the titles. I think they shouldn't rush getting the titles now. But this is what they want to do, and I find it very distasteful and a waste. That's just me. And since I mentioned Breezango and the Ascension, the Fashion Popo with the Ascension, which seems to be a horrible, horrible, horrible combination. The Ascension just doesn't feel right when it comes to the Fashion Police. They just don't. Doesn't mean they couldn't win me over eventually. But let's be honest here. Who's more funny? The Fashion Police doing all the Pulp Fiction, the X-Files, the Miami Vice, and all that stuff they did before? Or the Fashion Police with the Ascension, who clearly are not funny. At least not yet. As far as I'm concerned, they're not funny. They're just not. And maybe they can grow on me. But seeing this four pair does not work for me personally. Yeah, they do fill in some of the blanks, saying that the Bludgeon Brothers are the ones who are the 2B. But I just don't feel like it's necessary to see them. I just don't feel like it's necessary to team them up with Breezango. I don't want to see the Fashion Popo with the Ascension. At least unless they can win me over. Because they could. And I don't have any shots of the Bludgeon Brothers, but honestly, with the vignettes, I don't really feel interested. So there's no reason to get any pictures of them anyway. Hopefully when they get on the main roster, they'll change my mind, but as it stands, they just feel very generic and boring. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. Now, Baron Corbin going up against Sin Cara again. What? Why? Why? You are burying Baron Corbin. What is the point of Baron Corbin losing twice to Sin Cara? The first time because of a count-out win. The other one because of a DQ. What's next? What's next? Why are they going with this? It makes no sense for Baron Corbin to be beating the crap out of Sin Cara and losing the way he is going into Survivor Series. It makes no sense. It doesn't. I do not see anything that makes sense here, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't get it. You got Baron Corbin, who, yeah, he made a mistake. He pissed someone off. fine. He's eating shit. But you're going into your signature pay-per-view of Survivor Series and you're booking him like this? He's going up against The Miz, the Intercontinental Champion. Your U.S. Champion has now jobbed twice. One for count-out win, one for DQ win. What's next? Another count-out win, another DQ win, or a clean win? What is going on? Someone tell me below, does this make any sense to you in Bizarro World? Because in Bizarro World, even that doesn't work. Even Super Bizarro or Bizarro who's Superman who is reverse wouldn't make any sense of this. I'm just saying. Now, what else do we have here? I want to say this about what happened with AJ Styles and Sing Bro #1. I can't remember the guy's name. It was incredibly quick, very fast, and very destructively sloppy. Well, not that sloppy. It's not AJ Styles who was sloppy. It was the Singh brother. He jobbed pretty quick and it looked sloppy. But doesn't mean it wasn't good for AJ Styles. It doesn't really elevate him anymore, but it doesn't hurt him either. The thing that mattered the most was the promo beforehand and what Jinder Mahal had said, trying to prove to everyone that he is going to be the dominant force in this wrestling company they call WWE. He's going to be better than Brock Lesnar. He's not his contemporary. He's not an opponent. He is superior. He transcends him. This is going to be a hard sell for a lot of people, because a lot of people are not going to believe anything he's talking about. And to be honest, I've always said this. Jinder Mahal is the first one of many that may come eventually that are in the mid-card, who were jobbers, who are needed to be elevated because they don't have anyone credible as a top-tier wrestler. I've said this before and I say it again. He's good. Jinder Mahal is not a bad talent. Perfectly fine in the mid-card if he's pushed properly. But when it comes down to it, he's not meant to stay there forever. He's only there to help the next one who is a jobber to come up and to actually get that title from him. Well, at least that's going to let AJ Styles and John Cena do it. It should be someone else. Someone that they should build up properly. Maybe a Bobby Roode. That is the person I'm hoping for. A young talent as they consider in their company, who really does have great ability, who can get that title, who can make something out of it, who normally they would make into a mid-carder. I know he hasn't jobbed, but you know what? They'll make him job. If he was there years ago, they would have jobbed out Bobby Roode when he was in Beer Money. They would have. They wouldn't even looked at his ability. Just like EC3 when he was in the company. They saw him, they saw he looked good, but they didn't give a fuck. That's the reason why he left and went to TNA. Has become incredibly great talent for them if they know how to use him. But that's just me. Let's see. Anything else here I want to talk about? Okay. I want to say this overall. When it comes down to it, am I interested in seeing Survivor Series? No. As it stands, as the show is showing me, it's still not interesting yet. It's still not interesting enough. I am not interested in watching Survivor Series. But at least they are doing some level of progression with the limited amount of staff they got. So I will be watching. You guys tell me below what you think about this show. Do you actually believe this was a good show? Was it a progressive show? Was it a sucky show? What? I'd like to know. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.